everybody, welcome back to another episode live here at the Up North Journal cabin.
Another Sunday night in the cabin.
We're backwards. What's
Yes,
up with
we
that?
are. Hey, what am I doing over here?
I don't know. How do you like that seat?
Well, it's my seat originally, so I'm okay. Just a little
Yes, we've
opposite.
switched things around a little bit here tonight.
But that's okay. It's all for the better of the listening and viewing pleasures of our listeners and viewers.
So let us do some sharing here real quick, and we will get rocking with tonight's show. So,
Right.
Hope everybody's having a good weekend. The weather's finally got a little bit of sunshine here now in Michigan. It's the last 3 days. It's been rainy and
Right.
cloudy and nasty. So, all right, a couple more here, and I'll be ready, Dan.
Yeah. Just give me a second.
Okay, one more. Let's see how many people we got on with us so far. Hey, AJ Regal, Travis Minton, thanks for joining in tonight. AJ, you got your fields planted yet? Throw me a message back here while we're getting situated if you have. And okay, I'm all set.
I will be in just a smidgen.
All right, you let me know.
Oh, turn my volume down. There we go. All right.
Denny Steiner. Hey, Denny. All the way from Illinois, I do believe.
All right. We're ready.
All right, let me get the record going, and we will get this thing rocking here. One more quick piece of business. All right. Looks like our guest is ready.
No, it looks like he's ready.
He's styling and profiling. I got his mic clipped so he can't talk.
Right? But he can hear us.
Got him laughing. Yep. All right, here. Let me get the record going. Okay, stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Adams, and Dan DeFoss sitting in the Up North Journal cabin tonight. What's going on, Danny?
Well, start off the night with a weather report from Jason Radecki. It's going to be another scorcher up there. And Ron Moses is checking in from Tennessee.
All right. Hey, Ron, thanks for tuning in. Jason says, yeah, we're on opposite sides.
Yeah.
Yes, we have flipped the tables on everybody tonight.
We have. We've flipped it a little bit. And
it's weird because I'm looking for myself and I see you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You're on the opposite side. But no, we're back in the cabin. A little change.
Got the Hunter's Blend coffee rocking tonight?
Yep, got the Hunter's Blend coffee. Where's
your cup?
My cup's. I've been using my cup at home, so I just come over here and use this handy dandy little mossy oak cup.
Okay.
Because this is called limiting myself, or else I'm never going to fall asleep between now and 2 a.m.
Oh, what's the matter, man? You can't stay awake and go to work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, get up at 4:30 just to go to work. No, ain't happening.
All right. Well, you want to jump right into it tonight?
You know what? Yeah, let's just jump into it. We talked about it on the show before. We've had him on the show before, but he's done something kind of special. But we want to talk to him about it.
Yeah, okay. We'll introduce our guest tonight. Hey, Dan Jasa from Ohio. What's going on, Dan?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. You've been a busy guy here lately.
Yeah, I've been running around like a crazy man, basically living the right life of the rep and trying to actually shoot a little bit too.
Yeah?
I tell you what, you're doing the rep thing, and you're doing shooting these tournaments, and between having to drive from Ohio to Michigan back and forth and getting in there to shoot, man, do you like get a full 40 minutes of sleep every night and then you're good?
I've been getting up pretty early and getting to the range. Try to get there 3 days a week. I usually get there around 6:30, and like I've said before, I try to make a goal for myself every practice session and get out there and get done what I need to get done, and really focus on what I'm doing shooting wise, and then pack it up and get to work.
Okay, so speaking of that, when you get there, is this an indoor range or an outdoor range?
This time of year, it's all outdoor. I really don't do anything indoor. It comes March when Indoor National rolls around. I don't want to see another indoor target until like December.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because I know how much time you spend on the road having to do the sales part of your main job. But what's you get in the morning at 6:30 and okay, you're going to turn on the light and say, I'm going to practice now. What's some tips and some tricks to say, hey, I don't have much time during the week, but when I am, what should I be doing?
You basically have to break down and really be honest with yourself on what's going on with how you're shooting and picking apart a few things you wish you'd be doing a little bit better. And like myself, working on this next week's going to be working on release execution and picking out something I can do. Say, I want to go out and I want to shoot 40 or 50 really, really good shots with perfect execution and finish on a high note so your body kind of remembers that good stuff that you're doing, and basically just packing it up from there. So every time I go out and shoot, it's a little bit different, and depending on what's been going on, goals change, and end goals of where I want to be as far as shooting wise for field. It's just a building process week by week, trying to get myself ready for tournaments.
Well, talking a little bit about the shot process or shot execution and working through that versus, I mean, like right now, I know the biggest thing for me is being able to hold on target and not getting target. I don't really get target panic per se, but it's just trying to hold through that shot. But for you, is it more of that, or is it more of, like you were just saying, is it actually just hitting the release and executing that squeeze the way it's supposed to be?
Well, for me, where my biggest struggle is I over aim a little bit, so I try to hold it too still and try to keep it in the middle as much as I can. And when you're doing that, you're focusing so much on that, the execution kind of suffers. So your groups will actually suffer when you're trying to hold and aim way too much, as opposed to letting it kind of float in the middle and using your shot execution the way you know how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Well, I don't feel so bad now. Okay, good. But I'd just like to let Mike know that I accidentally let it fly accidentally. But just so you know, I had.
Hopefully you didn't let go of the release.
No. Okay, so I finally did it. I don't know what I was doing. I was messing around and I hit the release and my arrow went flying.
Oh, you finally did?
Yeah, I finally did it.
Did you punch yourself in the nose?
No, I wasn't that far yet.
Okay.
But my arrow went 120 yards. Just from, it wasn't even at full draw. It was just.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyways, back to our start. But that's awesome. Okay, so a couple weeks back, something happened, and something big's going to happen in September. So, what did you do?
Like I was telling you guys before, every 2 years the USA Archery team has what's called team trials. So indoors and field are on even number years, and outdoor, like the 50-meter target stuff, is on odd number years. So I've tried to make the team 3 times. I was alternate twice. This last year for indoor team, I wasn't even close. So making a world championship field team's always been a goal of mine. So this year team trials came, and the way that works is you shoot 2 days for the national championships, and then they cut you down, all the competitors down, so you've got 8 people in each class. Then you shoot another day, or at the end of the second day, you shoot team trials. No, it is the third day. Yeah, the third day, you shoot team trials. They go the top 8. You shoot 8 targets. You cut down to 4, and then you shoot 4 more targets, and then the top 3 scores from the 3 days of competition make the world championship team.
And you did it, my friend.
Yep, I got 3rd place. So last time I went to world trials, I was 4th. I missed out the team by 1 point. So this year I did qualify in the 3rd spot. So I made the 2018 world championship team. So it's pretty exciting.
And you are off to
Cortina, Italy in September.
And how many days are you going to be there?
Counting travel, we leave on the 1st, and I'll get back on the 10th. So it's a little longer of a trip than I would have wanted to, just with the time of year it's being. But making a world championship team has always been a goal of mine. So I'm gonna figure out how to make it work. I got to call AT&T and figure out how to make sure my cell phone's going to work while I'm over in Italy, because I know I'm going to be getting calls all the time, and be putting in orders and taking care of dealers and making sure they have what they need to get done during that time of year, because I know it's just extremely busy for them in September.
Absolutely, and being Italy, it's
I was gonna say
5-6 hours ahead of us, maybe.
I think it's 6.
Okay, so 6 hours. So that's actually not bad.
So I'll be able to get all my stuff done. Usually we're done shooting by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which will be about time where guys are going to be calling me if they need something, need help with something, warranty issues or anything like that. So I'll be able to shoot and then have the rest of the day to field phone calls and do what I can to help my dealers in the territory.
Cool. That's awesome because, it was exciting to see when the Facebook post got posted that you had made the team, and then to be going to Italy is just, that's got to be something awesome. Like you said, you've been trying to do that dream come true type thing, and you finally achieved it. But you going to be a little nervous or what?
No, I mean, if you look at the last, I think 6 or 8 world championships for field, it's been won by an American. The American field team is always probably the strongest team that goes there. So it's been said by a lot of people that the hardest thing to make a world championship team, or to make the world championships, is just to make it on the U.S. team. So we're extremely strong, especially in field. We've got some of the greatest field shooters that have ever lived in the United States. So to be a part of that and make that team that's the hard part's done. And now it's just preparing to have fun over in Italy and shoot well and enjoy the experience.
How many totals on the team that are going?
So there's different age classes, but there's recurve and compound. That's it. So there's 3 people from each division. So for the seniors, which is the 21 to 50-year-olds, there's 3 of us, myself, Dave Cousins, and Steve Anderson. And then every other division, there's only 3 people that get to go.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Man, that's going to be exciting. Hopefully they have some. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know how it works with weather, but you shoot through any type of weather except...
as long as there's not lightning, we're okay. Shooting. So
okay.
When we were out in Darrington, we were in rain gear. They had rain there all 3 days. It didn't rain all day, but we shoot through everything.
That's awesome.
Rain, high wind, the whole 9 yards. Heat, cold.
As long as there's no lightning, man.
Yep, as long as there's no lightning in the area, they roll with it.
I've heard some guys talk about, practicing outdoors. They say, a windy day, that's the time to go out and practice. I mean, do you do some of that just in case you run into wind?
I practice when it's windy. I don't like to do it. I'd like to practice when it's calm as much as I can, because if you start shooting too much in wind, you start getting some really bad habits. So for the field stuff, you're mainly in the woods, so wind really isn't a factor. It can be a little bit, but it's not like shooting regular target stuff where you're standing out in an open field just shooting 50 meters. So for the most part, I try to practice when it's calm. But if I'm going to be shooting some 50-meter stuff, I'll go out and shoot in the wind and practice and know what I need to do to either aim off or bubble off or whatever to hit the middle. But for the most part, I try to do all my work to make myself a better shot when it's calm.
So being a field event, you said it's going to be in the woods. Is okay. I know it's not the same as what we shot down in Ohio with you guys, but is it that same style?
It's the same format that you guys shot. So the national championships was the start of the team trials. Is basically the same format of what you guys shot when you came down and shot with me last year. So the first day is 24 targets, all unknown distance. Second day is known distance, and the third day was the team trials. So with what you guys shot, that was the format that we shot for team trials.
Unknown distance. Oh, I hate that.
It's coming up again. You guys better get practicing, because that tournament's coming up here in about a month.
Is it? What's the date on it?
Yep. I believe it's the 21st, 22nd of July.
Okay.
Back down in Toledo.
Back in Toledo. All right. So we'll have to. It's
going to be at a different club this year, but it's going to be probably 20 minutes from where the one was last year.
Oh, okay.
So
we might be fully in Ohio this time.
So we don't get to shoot in Ohio or go to Michigan.
You will not get to go into Michigan while you're shooting this time.
The first time I mentioned that, somebody said, "You did what?"
Right, exactly.
I'm like, literally, it's on the state. Right on the border. So
that's just that it speaks volumes of Dan and his shooting abilities to make the team, and
it's awesome. Incredible, man. It's just simply incredible. What did your wife say when you said, "Hey, we're going to Italy"?
We've been talking about it for a while. We were planning on making the trip to Dublin 2 years ago, and then I missed the team by a point. So this tournament and this World Championship team is something I've been looking forward to and preparing for a couple of years. So I do a lot of other shooting, but this tournament's always been on my mind. So it was, before I even left, it was, okay, get ready to plan on going to Italy. So I had the confidence to know that I could shoot well enough to do it. And then when it finally got done, she was like, yes, finally, we get to go. And so started booking plane tickets and hotels. And
she's got her bag.
She's excited. Yeah.
She's probably waiting at the door. All right, Dan, let's go.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, now, I've never been overseas, but, I think of Italy, you think of certain things. What's the terrain like where you're going to be shooting? Is it going to be a lot of flat land? You said it's going to be in a wooded area, but...
It's going to be in the Alps. So
okay.
It's in the mountains. So Cortina is like, if you look at Switzerland, the Swiss Alps, that same mountain range runs into Italy. So that's going to be where all the qualifications are done. So the first 2 days of competitions are going to be up in the mountains.
Okay.
Trails running through the mountains, different targets. So quite a bit different from the stuff you guys saw when you came down to Ohio, but those same kind of targets in hills that are 20 degrees uphill, 20 degrees downhill.
I was just
all
about
over the place.
Just about thinking about that, being in the mountain type terrain. Yeah, it's going to be.
So you got to be
it's almost like the one stand where you're shooting at 11 degrees.
Oh
So figure the 55 meter target you guys shot on the same kind of slopes.
No thanks.
Right. Man, dude, that's going to be some. I can't wait to see pictures from this. This is going to be awesome.
So they'll do that for the qualification days, and then all the eliminations, from what I hear, is going to be in the streets of Cortina, which is right at basically the foothills of the mountains. So from what I hear, we'll be shooting on the streets up into the mountains. So it's going to be a pretty good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Now over there, we've talked about this before. Archery over in Europe is a lot bigger than it is here.
Yeah, you look at over here, hunting is 97% of the market. Over there, it may not be 97%, but it's a vast majority of the archery market over there is for targets. And there's a lot more recurves over there, too.
So that's probably going to be one heck of a shindig.
How many countries are involved in this?
I don't know how many countries are going to be involved in it. I know that they send quite a few teams there, but I don't know the exact count.
Man, it's going to be a wild 9-8 days, whatever he's on the ground over there.
No kidding. Yeah, I remember the Lancaster shoot this year. We got to watch part of that live. Is any of this going to be on the internet anywhere that we could see it? Possibly.
Yeah, World Archery will have all the elimination matches on YouTube. It may, for us being in the U.S., I think NBC may have the rights to the World Archery stuff.
Yes,
so
they do.
It may be on NBC Sports on their live streams, but they will be doing a live stream. It just depends on where you have to find it. I'll have to find out that information, but I think it's going to have to be on the NBC Sports webpage, probably.
Right, exactly, because actually Chris Schnurr asked that same question today or yesterday, and
there was a shoot yesterday, right?
Steven Hansen, he answered the question was NBC has the rights. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so they had the World Cup out in Salt Lake, and people trying to find it on YouTube. Like everything else on World Archery you can see, but any of the World Cups, NBC has rights to it. So it just probably depends on what their contract states on what they actually have rights to. So they may not want the field archery stuff, so that may be on YouTube, but I'll have to look at that when it gets closer to time.
Simply incredible. I just can't imagine shooting on that kind of stage. I mean, we watched you shoot at Lancaster, but on a world stage, that's just, I don't know, man. That's just got to be exciting. It doesn't get any better than that.
I don't know what Dan. I know we watched him do the Lancaster thing. But that was a pretty big stage.
Yeah.
Lancaster, everything. But okay, so now this is the world stage.
So you were stone cold there. Is you going to be the same way here?
I try to be every time I shoot.
We have a new Stone Cold in this world.
That's right.
Stone Cold
Dan Jasa.
I'm not going to shave my head.
Oh, come on.
Don't do that.
Well, I tell you what, if you can hang on for a few minutes, let's take a quick break. And we come back, we'll continue a little more of the conversation, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, hang on, folks. Here, we're going to take a quick break, step outside. We'll be right back after this. For those of you on the live stream, hang on, and we will get going here. If you got any questions for Dan, throw them our way. And
and thanks, Ron Moses, for he could not listen, and he's back.
He's back. Good deal.
Yeah, he couldn't stay away from the Up North Journal. That's a good thing.
Gotta like that. All right, let me save this off.
Yes. Now you gotta save it off on your right.
I'm doing everything backwards.
I know you are. I was watching you. You're kind of like, wait a second, it's over here.
It's taken me a little bit to get used to this. I mean, we've had this configuration for years now, and all of a sudden we flip.
Yeah.
So.
And now it's 3 hours into it or whatever it is.
Right. So, good stuff. Okay, one more second here, folks. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Second segment of the show, talking with Dan Jasa, PSC sales manager down from Ohio, middle of Ohio. So,
Hey, have you had time to do some fishing?
I've been doing a little bit of fishing, but not much.
Not much?
I've been on the road too much.
Okay. I know you were doing a little bit of bass fishing last year. I was wondering if you were able to get out this year.
Luckily, the place where we live, there's a town lake like 2 miles away, so at night before it gets dark, I'd like to go out and throw a fly out a little bit. I actually caught a nice 2-pounder on the fly rod last night, or I guess that was 2 nights ago. That was pretty fun to bring in on a fly rod.
How's the fly rod going? Because I think that's something new you picked up, right?
Yeah, I picked that up last year. It's fun. I'm really getting to enjoy that. The regular spinning tackle or bait casters are a little boring now after throwing a fly rod for a while.
I gotta get him up here to go after muskie.
you've been talking about it.
I know.
Twist my arm.
I know, right? I gotta get a hold of Eli and it's getting to be about that time where they're gonna be up on top and.
Yeah, I would love to come up muskie fish. That's a bucket list fish for sure for me.
Well, we were down there at Toledo, or I was down there. What was that? A month and a half ago or so, when I came down with that shoot back there at Mudjaw.
Yep.
And
Mudjaw.
And I come in from shooting, Chris Schnurr and I, and Chris goes over to his vehicle, and I look over, and Dan's like starting to break out. He's got a fly box, and he's going through his flies and everything. And all of a sudden, here comes Chris, and he's got one. They're comparing. It's like you've got him hooked now as well.
Oh boy.
So
yeah, I took him out when he was over at Cabela's. They've got a lake over there, and I had 2 fly rods with me. I let him play with one, and now he's got more fly rods than I do.
See, you were over by Cabela's. Did you go to the lake, or were you in the little cuts?
The little cuts over there.
Yeah, that can be fun in there because the carp come in there too, and you can go bow fish. If you walk along that road, you can bow fish that.
Okay.
If when the carp are in, yeah, you can bow fish that. But speaking of that, speaking of bow fishing, just bows in general, how's the new? About a couple weeks ago, they announced the new 28 coming out.
That was back on June 1st. June 1st.
Yep. So been 3 weeks, and dealers have them, and they said the people that have shot them so far, they've all been blown away, and that bow is going to be a pretty hot ticket this fall, I think.
Absolutely. You know, I was at Jim's yesterday.
Okay.
And he had a couple up on the wall, and I was kind of just eyeing them. And dude, for a blind hunter like I am typically, it's a winner.
The 28 axle.
The axle 28. I mean, that's gonna be so awesome in a blind. I'm excited.
Yeah, all over that bow is going to be great. So I've been playing with mine a little bit more here and kind of shooting at some distance in the mornings whenever I go out and shoot a little bit just to play with it. And the more I shoot it, the more impressed I am with it. I've never been a real short bow kind of guy. I've always liked a little bit longer bow, but this thing just impresses me more and more every time I shoot it.
And what's the longest you've shot it?
I shot a couple at 100 with it the other day, and like I said, it's just amazing what that little thing will do at 100 yards or 80 yards. And I put a pretty good wad together at 80 on one of the field faces. So I'm not going to be taking to any tournaments anytime soon, but it's definitely going to be packing with me in the woods this fall.
Well, it didn't take long for people to get it out in the field and start killing stuff with it. I seen a couple bear that were taken with it right off the bat that first week, if I'm not mistaken.
I was actually, before it was even released, we had, when we got our samples out, our Northeast rep lives up by Canada, went on a bear hunt and killed a 426-pound black bear with it. So he's got the first confirmed kill with the Evolve 28, and it was a dandy.
Oh, there you go. You know what he's going to be talking about at ATA next year. Guess who got the first one?
That's getting the job done, man. I mean, like you said, right out of the gate. That is cool. Well, anything else you got going on? Anything down that way that's newsworthy or noteworthy?
Not that I can think of. I'm just trying to get out and see some new dealers and spread the PSE love around the territory, and yeah, that's been about it.
Have you done anything in the way of securing somewhere to hunt in Ohio for this fall?
I'm still looking. I think I'm just going to go the public land route this year. Ohio's got some pretty good public ground, and I'm sure you've seen some big deer get killed. The Mark Hammer buck was killed on public ground. That was a 254-incher. I know we had a young man a couple years ago kill a 220-incher with a stinger down here. So I live right in the heart of Licking County, so I've got a lot of stuff that's pretty close. I probably will go start knocking on some doors when it gets closer to September, maybe try to find some private ground. But my plan is just to hit the public ground scene this year and see what I can do.
So what he's probably going to do is probably, I don't know, October, just drive down the highway and pull off on some public land next to a highway.
Yeah, walk in.
Yeah,
shoot a monster.
Shoot a monster buck right next to a highway.
Well, I when I moved here, I invested in the OnX Maps app, and tell you what, there's a ton of information in there. So whenever I'm driving around, if I stop someplace, I always kind of pull that up and look and see what kind of public ground hunting is around, and start making notes of some private stuff that maybe look good, and jot down some information on the owners so I can go and talk to them and maybe see if I can get some access there. But that app's been actually pretty invaluable, even for fishing around here, being able to find public places to go fish. I use that thing all the time.
Never thought about using it for fishing. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
With as many streams and stuff that flow through here, you never know if it's Columbus City or somebody private, or with that app, it's pretty dang accurate as far as where the boundaries are. And with the GPSs on these phones nowadays, it basically will give you a pinpoint of exactly where you are.
Absolutely. Well, you talked a little bit about public land hunting. Last week we had a confirmed case of CWD here in Michigan, right almost down the Ohio border. You've been in Ohio now, what, a year and a half? Year and a half?
About a year and a half.
What's their thought process on CWD? I mean, you guys don't have anything widespread outbreaks like we do here in Michigan. Being that close, do you know anything about what they may be thinking or doing or what they've said?
To be completely honest with you, I haven't really dug too deep into it down here. I know whenever I was back in Missouri, we had quite a few outbreaks, and the Missouri Department of Conservation was trying to figure out ways to kind of stave off the spread of it. I'd have to assume that the DNR here is kind of doing the same thing, trying to figure out ways to make sure this stuff doesn't spread further into the state. But to be honest, I haven't been too up on the new information on the stuff down here in Ohio.
See, and the difference about Ohio is I think they manage a lot differently than Michigan does.
A lot of places manage a lot differently than Michigan does. Don't get me started.
I couldn't have, maybe I should have worded that a little bit differently. But anyway, I think they tend to manage more county by county in Ohio as opposed to our units by units, DMUs.
Yeah.
So don't get me started is right. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did something around that county in Michigan, around their counties adjoining Ohio.
Well, see, and that's the thing. The reason I brought it up is Jackson County. There's only one county between the state line and the southern border
Yeah.
of Jackson County. So, being that if that winds up being a quarantine area, you're going to have a county right adjacent to Ohio that's a quarantine county.
Right, exactly. So I'm sure they'll all be in conversation together between Michigan, Ohio, and he might be far enough south. It's probably not going to affect him.
No.
You know, it's not like something here where they do a shotgun blast and it affects everybody from Timbuktu.
Yeah. 13 counties, I think, is what the latest one is.
Right, exactly. So, but
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing something or trying to prevent as much as they can.
Right.
But to be honest, I haven't been too updated on the latest information on CWD around here.
Well, you've been pretty busy.
a little bit. He's going to go enjoy some Italian food, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. Some authentic Italian food.
He better get his working out regimen in store because that's going to get blown away when he goes over there.
Yeah.
I have to start doing some more hiking with some packs on, getting ready for the mountains.
There you go. Well, Dan, we're going to let you go. I know it's a Sunday evening here. We appreciate you taking a little time out of your day.
Can we talk to him real quick about this site that I got?
Yeah, go ahead.
That he sent me, and
he can't see it, but he knows what
he knows what site I got.
Kind of know what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, we got him.
Helps
It helps if you get the site and not the package, right?
All right. So, I'm going to be using the Black Mountain Outfitters Carbon DR driver site. I have one complaint right off the bat. For those of you on the live stream, if anybody can read that small a print on directions.
Here, let me get the camera. Let me get the camera up here so they can actually see. There you go. Hold it up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I know I'm blind, but that's ridiculous.
That is like about maybe a 4 or 5 point font.
I swear. I was
Get
reading.
your reading glasses out, old man.
Okay, I'm telling you, the reading glasses did not help. Okay,
He's got them on now. And he's still
I got them on now, and it's like, holy cow. But anyways, so I was reading the directions on the site, and your opinion, it says to sight in, the bottom pin is your 20-yard pin, and then work your way down from that. Is that the correct?
The way I usually do it.
How do you do it? Is what I want to ask.
On a site like that, I'll use the top pin to sight in for 20 yards, and then I will actually just use that pin to figure out which tape I'm going to use. So instead of sighting in 20, 30, 40, 50, and then sliding the slider down to get further distances, I will actually make a mark where the 20-yard pin is on the tape, slide it down and shoot out to 60 yards, and that'll give you a little bit finer measurement on what your pin gap will be for the tape. And then I'll leave that pointer on 20, sight in my 30, 40, and 50 since it's a 4-pin, and then I'll put the pointer on 50 yards. And then once you start sliding that sight down, your bottom pin will be referenced to the pointer.
Okay, so the bottom 20. Now you did 20, 30, 40 typically?
If with a 4-pin, I do 20, 30, 40, 50.
Okay.
And then when I put the tape on, I'll make sure the indicator pin on the tape is pointed at 50. So then you slide that up to 50, and then your 20, 30, and 40, 50 yards pins are all on. And then if you want to shoot further than that, you roll the slider down to whatever distance you're going to shoot, and you use your bottom pin.
Gotcha. Because I tell you what, a friend of mine, and I tell you what, I haven't used the site yet, but already I can tell you the engineering in this thing is awesome, because I helped a friend do you're right, Ron, he made that too simple. You're right, I know. Trust me, I'm going to be out in the backyard swearing up a storm. I helped him last week with a CBE site. And what happened was the housing, as you can see here, the housing is way in front of the mechanism that makes it go up and down.
In front of the whole arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, the CBE one took the housing, and it was about equal to where that was. So we could barely get to the little Allen wrenches to get in to move the pins.
Okay.
It was a pain in the butt. So I was kind of getting nervous. But then when this showed up, and I was like, Oh my gosh, you know, something as simple as that makes a world of difference. So, so I tell you what, I'm excited to get this out there, and yeah, trust me, if I have any problems, I'll be calling you.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Oh, you know I will.
He'll be calling you all kinds of things.
Right? So I want to thank you for getting it to me, and hopefully by the end of this week I'll have it sighted in.
Okay.
But with an asterisk, because I'm packing this week to go up north. So
What bow is that going on?
this is going on the 35 or 30, the Evolve 35.
Okay.
The Purple Madness bow.
Okay.
So I can't wait to get it out there. And
All right.
if this works anything like I want it to, that bow might go out in the woods with me.
Okay.
I don't care if it's purple, green, and yellow.
He'll be wearing purple leotards as he shoots it when he's sitting in his tree stand.
If I'm shooting a big buck with this thing, I will gladly wear purple leotards to shoot a big buck. Okay?
Instead of a big S on his chest, he had a big P.
I don't care. I don't care if I look like Barney if I shoot a big buck. Okay? People that are watching the live stream and everything, if you look over Dan's shoulder, if I shoot one of those,
Yeah.
I'm good. Okay? I'm not going to complain.
Right. Nope.
Is that one?
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, anyone on that wall, I'm not going to complain about. Okay? So you're spoiled by hunting Nebraska, Ohio,
Missouri.
come to Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to bring you up to Michigan and help us thin the doe herd out a little bit this year.
Again, don't tempt me with a good time. I love shooting does.
Yeah, we'll have a free for all.
My freezer's empty, so Emily will be all for me coming up and shooting a bunch of does.
There you go.
So looking at our live stream, Ohio, Ron Moses says Ohio, I believe, had one confirmed involving a captive deer, he thinks, back in 17.
That sounds about right.
And then he's also getting ready to pull the trigger on a new PSE bow.
Oh, right on.
So, Ron,
Which bow are you thinking about,
bow?
Ron? Yeah. Type
Go
in there.
for
real
it,
quick.
Ron. Do it. You won't be disappointed.
That's right. Get out and shoot and put them in your hands.
and I'm sure there's some good people down in Tennessee. I think that's where Ron said he was from Tennessee. So, get out. I think Dan would agree. If you're going to pick out a bow, definitely shoot them, right?
Yeah, go shoot them all and pick the one that calls your name.
I would totally agree with that.
There will be one that you shoot and you're like, all right, I'm in love. Let's go for it. Let's rock it.
Yeah, and when that happens, you know. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
You know what? It's just one of those things that I tell everybody. I've seen Dan handle customers and whatnot. It's the same thing. Here, shoot them.
I know we shot that 28 a couple weeks ago, man. That felt pretty doggone good in the hands.
That's ridiculous.
So, I'll tell you what, Dan, it's been a pleasure. We're going to let you go. I know it's Sunday evening, and you got to get up and early and shoot in the morning, I assume.
Yep, I'll be up at the crack of dawn.
All right. Well, you take care down there in Ohio and have a blast over in Italy, and maybe we can ring him one day and wake him up.
Ron Moses is from Michigan.
Oh, he's from Michigan.
So
Okay.
he should stop by. He's stuck on the road.
Okay.
That's why he's stuck down in Tennessee.
I got
I
you.
get you.
Right.
Well, Ron, if you're ever in the area when we're around and you pick the right weekend,
Yeah.
Dan might be there, and
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, you never know.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, let us know when that you said the exact day, and that's the 21st and 22nd down there in Ohio.
I'll double check, but it's that weekend, whatever July 21st, 22nd, whatever that Saturday and Sunday is. That's the weekend they're doing it. So it's a 2-day shoot. If you guys can, try to make it down for a couple days and bring some people with you too.
Yeah, I'd love to. We'll round up and maybe bring a busload down if we can. It'd be a lot of
Hey,
fun.
more the merrier.
All right. Hey, you take care, and we'll be talking soon.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. We're going to step outside. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
Now I gotta switch monitor back, right?
Hey, Dan, we'll catch up with you later, man. We'll give you
right,
we'll give you a shout.
All right. Have a good one. Night.
Yep. Thanks again.
Bye.
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 All right, folks, give us a second here. We're going to reconfigure a couple little things before we get moving along with the next segment of the show.
As I duck out of the
Yeah.
shot.
Right.
All right.
I'm going to save this off real quick.
He's laughing at us. All right. Cool.
Okay. And all right, Danny, you ready?
Oh, yep.
All righty. Here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, third segment of the show. It's getting a little warm in here in the cabin.
It is getting a little warm, and you know what? It's kind of sad.
What's up?
We're starting to lose daylight.
Yeah, first day of summer was the 21st, and today's what, the 24th? Yeah, so days are already getting shorter. But that means we're just another day closer to hunting season.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's always good to have Dan on the show.
Absolutely.
Bring us up to date with what's PS. You know what? And I'm so excited for him getting something like that accomplished, going over to Europe, where it's at this year. I don't know exactly all the different places it's been, but, you know, for 8 days that he's going to be there, it's going to be something memorable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, good luck to him, and shoot straight.
Absolutely.
So.
Aim small, miss small.
You got it. And yes, that's a good. It's a good. He had a good tip about not over holding your sight pin too long, because then it starts to just get it to the point where it feels good and let it fly.
You know, back a couple weeks ago, I told you I was having a few issues.
Yeah.
And I thought my shoulder was a little bit yacked, and I laid off for a week and really didn't shoot during the week at all, and went back at it again this weekend, and actually broke out the 31, my hunting bow, the Evolve 31, and started shooting the new Carbon Express pile drivers and getting them on.
How's that shooting?
Shoots really good. I mean, the arrows fly good. What got me is I've been shooting the Phenom now, since May?
Yeah,
April, May.
Well, whenever the weather broke.
And I was shooting the Carbon Express Max SDs.
Yep.
For target. When I knocked the first arrow for the pile driver, I was like, "Whoa, man, this thing's huge!" It's like shooting a telephone pole. I can really tell the difference in the weight.
Exactly, you know. And then what I kind of did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was shooting the Ferocity, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna pull out my 31 and just shoot it. And man, you're right, it's a lot different. The two bows, the Ferocity to the Evolve 31 is different, and I just got the 35 set up. I'll be shooting that this week, and it'll be fun. But yeah, that's why it's so important to get out and shoot them, because
Absolutely.
they're all different.
Absolutely.
So
the biggest thing other thing I noticed was not only the weight of the arrows, but also that the Phenom is set up at 50 pounds. 50-pound draw.
yeah.
And I went to shoot the 31, and I've got that set maxed out at 60 pounds. I'll probably about 62 pounds on the draw. And I shot probably close to 40 arrows, and my arm was starting to feel it just a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just that subtle difference between the two.
I have got, I want to say, I think all mine are set down to 55 now.
All of them?
Yep.
Okay.
It's across the board.
So, but no, it was fun to get out and shoot. And so you got the new sight. You're going to get that rocking?
Yep.
You get that rolling? All right.
I'm excited to get that out there. And I know it was tough to set up the that CBE for my friend. So I'll be a little nervous setting this one up, but we'll get it there.
So,
yeah, I'm excited and just shooting and heading up north next week. That'll be fun. So I started packing today.
okay.
Just can't pack in one night.
No. What are you going up for? A week or
Yeah,
one weekend?
Go up for a week, and it's our usual summer trip up to the cabin.
Okay.
I have not been able to get to the cabin yet this year.
Okay.
Yeah, grass is gonna be a little long. Yeah, I don't know how the trail is.
Are you doing anything with food plots?
Okay, so I didn't get up there when I wanted to pull some soil samples. So I think what I'm going to go up there, I don't know, this year, I'm going to grab some more soil samples. I'd like to know where my soil's at. I'd like to get up there for Labor Day. If I get my soil samples here in July, I should be able to get results back in time to know.
Do your fall planning?
To do my fall planning.
Okay.
So I might do a little work on them, maybe try to knock them down. I'm going to
See what you got.
See what I got. I'm really interested to know what the new growth. It's been a full spring season there. There's all the cutting's done, so now I want to see what the regen looks like.
Oh, from the logging.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So I want to know what's thicker, what's still thin, or what do I got to deal with? Because there's some trails there. I was hoping, we've been talking that we're going to try to keep them trails, but I'm thinking we might try to get some seed of something down on them. We don't know, clover or something that...
Something to use as a food plot.
Something we can use as a trail, but also a food plot.
Right on.
So I'd like to see how that's working out. I know they've had some serious rain up there.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly. I'm expecting with all the rain that they did have that it should be lush and green.
Okay.
So that's why I'm expecting some grass. And get up there. I might do some. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'll get up there and I might have to make a trip to town and get some seeds. There's a new seed place in town. So I might go up there, see what I got to deal with, and go check them out and maybe pay them a visit and spend my money there and kind of help out the economy up there.
Right on. When you plant, you just use a broadcaster or do you hand through it?
Okay, so last year I used a broadcaster, push broadcaster.
Okay.
Tractor Supply had some kind of deal. You buy a bag of fertilizer and you got a hand spreader.
Okay.
So I got a hand spreader now.
Okay, I was gonna say if you needed to borrow mine, you could take it up with you.
No, I got a free one. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool. I wasn't free, but
There's nothing free.
right, exactly. It's like
You're paying for it.
Yeah, I'm going to pay somewhere. But I bought a bag of weed and feed, and I got a free hand spreader.
Gotcha.
So I got one. So I'm good. I'm happy about that. I just don't know what to plant yet.
Okay. Ron Moses, we're talking about food plots right now. Ron asked if we're going to have Nick on again about food plots. Because the flow we had has gone, and I want to plant, but don't know.
Hey,
what
Ron,
it's late.
where are you located?
Yeah, type in,
What
what
area
area.
you're located? Because I'm kind of interested if the flooding, because I know the Western UP got.
That's something we hadn't talked about. You're not far from where that happened.
I am would be south east
Okay.
of all that flooding.
Okay, so you're near the Michigami Reservoir, right?
Correct.
So the water flows into that reservoir. What's that like?
That's exactly what I don't know yet. I don't know. I know our stream. I'll see it when I get there because you can usually tell if it swells, how it leaves that kind of like a mark of where you can see where it flooded.
Right.
And then I'll head over to the reservoir, and I know they should be they should be starting to let it fill up, and actually they'll let it down in the fall, right? Spring, it's full from the runoff. Then they let it go down for the summer. Yeah. So I'll see where that's at, and that water's got to go somewhere.
Okay, he's got property in Archery. He says.
He's in
Okay.
Archery,
So he's just south of us.
He's just south of you up there, and
Yep.
yeah, you're gonna need to get on there and start doing your food plot maintenance, especially if you're gonna do some fall stuff. I know Lincoln said he got his soybeans in a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We talked to him last week.
We have not done anything this year with a spring planting. For the guys who's been following us here for the last 3 or 4 months, we're now working with some consultants, land consultants, as well as they're helping us with our deer management plan, our habitat management plan there on the property.
Yep.
By the time we got things rolling, it really is too late in the spring to do any spring planting. So we're going to do some fall planting, and this year it looks like we're going to try to save a little bit of money and maximize our potential going into next spring before fawning season. But what we're looking at is probably doing some oats. That's kind of the direction they were leading us into. We haven't really confirmed that as of yet, but that's probably where we're going.
And oats. So you plant the oats and just let them stand.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've never worked with oats.
Okay.
Everything that we've done in the past has been rye and clover, pretty much.
You had you turned me on to the rye, the rootstock rye.
Yep.
And the clover, and I used that last year. I'd be interested to see if that came up. What didn't come up last year.
I can tell you there's not a lot right now. Anything that wasn't planted with anything of any height, clover is gone. I mean, it's the only clover that's lasting is stuff that's in some tall plant material.
Okay.
So it's like I said, we're just in a strange dynamic right now. We're trying to get rolled over into this management plan, and we're it's like, okay, let's forget about all of the old thinking, the old things we've tried, because we tried so many different things in the past and played experimental games, really trying to figure out what we could grow and what would work. And we were planting things that were good, but it was at the wrong times of the year.
Well, that's the thing, right? And now, like you said, you have the consultants on board, so now they're going to try to erase the blackboard.
Yep.
And say, okay, now think like this.
Yep. Exactly.
And
what they do, it definitely works. I've seen
the
results of what they're doing, and it's just a little bit of a shift from what some of the things we've been doing, and it's a different way of thinking, and hopefully it's going to save us a little bit of money in the long run, and it's going to get the deer in kind of in check. Start shooting the does, thinning the does out, getting our buck to doe ratio in a better balance.
Somewhere close.
Yeah, somewhere close, and start working with that.
And that's the thing.
Come up with a plan.
You got to come up with a plan, but you got to do the footwork now to get that there. And his resume, or their resume, actually, when we were up there for the necropsy, there was proof in the pudding when they brought that deer from another property.
Yeah. Yeah.
And said, here, this is from another property. And
take a look at this.
Take a look. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what those guys do, it just speaks for itself.
Exactly. So that's awesome. And we're at July 4th. We still got some fishing we need to do. I got taking the kayaks and we get out there, do some kayak fishing. I haven't been yet this year. I want to get out there. Definitely get the kayaks out there.
Jake just came home. He was home for about 10 days from college, and he just left before we started the show. But they were out on kayak. Him and his buddies were out on kayaks twice while he was home, but didn't do any fishing. I've yet to wet a line this year. It's something I definitely want to do, and it's just once you start getting into certain things and rolling along, and like we're working on the management plan at our place. I was up north quite a bit in the spring. And now there's things going on at work that's taking my time. Now we're rolling into show season, and I'm like, man, and we're going to shoot some archery, and it's like, where did the summer go?
Right.
I mean, I know it's really the first official week of summer, but I mean, summer really started Memorial Day weekend.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to have the kayaks, definitely do some fishing. I'm going to be hopefully getting out there every day somewhere. Out on the Michigami is a big one, and we usually pick different put-in points.
Okay.
And then let's go to this one, and that'll be a cut, and we can fish that one. And
how big is that reservoir?
Oh my Lord, it's huge. I don't know the size offhand.
Compare it to like something around here.
Houghton Lake size.
Okay, so it's bigger than Lake Fenton, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's huge. Okay. You could spend a day just going in and out of the different cuts.
Okay.
And that's how we do fish if we have a boat up there. Is we'll just pick an end and then we'll just troll into the cuts and throw, or we'll do a little drifting. But there's definitely some little lakes as well that we might try to get to. It all depends. Sometimes the 4th is probably going to be busy.
Okay.
So, but and it's in the middle of the week this week, isn't it? It's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on a Wednesday. It's right in the middle of the week.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that is, because sometimes you show up at one put-in and there's a massive amount of people.
Go to another one, there's nobody.
Right, exactly. Right. And also, Wisconsiners like to come over and do some fishing over in Michigan. So you can pull up to a lake and in the put-in point, and there'll be 10 cars there, and 9 of them will be all Wisconsin plates.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Definitely interesting. Let's tell you what, we're bumping up here on our last break, so we're going to step outside, take a quick break. We come back, we'll kind of wrap up the show, talk a little bit about some things that happened here in Michigan this week. So we'll be right back after this. Those of you on the live stream, hang on 1 second. Okay, just going back through the.
Yeah, he's Ron sent you some pictures.
Okay.
He PM'd them to you. They were just before the leaves.
You know, and I guess, while we're in the break here, as I'm saving this off,
Yeah,
talking a little bit about his original question, talking with Nick. Personally, I'm not going to be able to use his product this year because we're working with our land consultants. There is one little tiny plot that I've yet to develop, that I've wanted to develop, that I have, it's just taking time. And it's something I may seriously look at when I'm actually I'm thinking about going up this next weekend. If I do, we may use some of that product there. Dan, are you using any of his product this year?
What I'll be using this year will be his sprays. I got those to use, so I'll be using his sprays for sure. As far as seed goes, I don't know exactly what I'll be doing because, like I said, I don't know what I'm running into.
Okay.
If I get up there and have little prep, how my soil is, I might just go buy some throw and grow or something for this year.
Okay.
I really like to get get in there with a tractor. First, I want to see what the fields look like.
Right.
I like to get in with a plow and tiller and do it right, but it's tough.
Okay.
There's Greg Miller there with the wacky worm bite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Sitting in the cabin backwards tonight. I'm still not used to
this. You know what? You can say backwards for this show, but after this, it's going to be normal.
You've been hiding. I noticed you're hiding behind that mic there quite a bit. You need to lean in a little bit so everybody can kind of see what's
but I'm afraid you won't be able to hear my voice.
You just got to turn a little bit.
Turn my mouth like this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
But we did a little redesign, flip some things around, make things a little easier on us and a little better, hopefully. And what you got there?
Ron has a fact here. Mm-hmm. Says that rice grows in water.
Uh-huh.
And he's right. And if he's had flooding, actually, I think, matter of fact, today was one day that I think they had a lot of rain up there, and it was just doing the old spin on top of, just above Saginaw on that, with the low pressure going through.
Okay.
It might have rained a lot up there.
I know yesterday there were some areas that got hit pretty hard. We were at a open house.
Yeah.
And the clouds were dark all day, and it's like as soon as the clouds passed over us, as soon as they got east of us, boom, it cut loose, and they got a lot of rain just east of us here. So
yeah, they're just east of us got rain, and then we didn't get nothing here, or we got a passing shower here, and it was one of those. The weather guy had the map up, and it was just like a green speckled mess.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, as soon as this goes by, it's done. Oh
no, just
you had to worry about it all day.
Well, kind of in the show here, I want to talk just a little bit, what few minutes we got left here, talk about something that happened earlier here this week here in Michigan. We allude to it just a little bit earlier in the show, talking about Jackson County. They have just confirmed this week another case of CWD, and it was actually the first one in that county. And from the way the story goes, from the press release of the DNR, which we've actually posted on our Facebook page.
Yep.
There was a local person there that was seeing a deer regularly that looked sick. It actually was exhibiting signs that there was something seriously wrong with it, possible CWD. By the time they come out to actually investigate, the deer had actually died. So did it die of CWD, or did it die of complications because of CWD, from something else?
Okay.
That they're unsure of, but they said it did test positive for CWD.
But they don't know if it died of CWD.
Yeah, but they're saying if it did, it's probably going to be the first confirmed case in the state of Michigan of a CWD death from a cervid, a wild deer. So that's what we're facing.
I don't know. I have this.
That's right down in the heart of big buck country.
That is in the heart of big buck. But I wish, instead of coming out and say this possibly could be the first, why don't they just say, okay, we have this, but wait till they get 100% confirmation of if it was or not?
What does it matter?
Well,
one way or the other. I mean, if it tested positive, if it does come back confirmed positive from, I believe, Ames, Iowa, where they sent them to be tested.
Yep.
So, what does it matter one way or the other? I mean, it just means it didn't die from something else that led up to the complications from the CWD. The bigger issue is the things that's been going on. The week prior to that was the open forum, public forum, where we had a lot of people from around the country that are involved in deer management and biology come in and speak on behalf of the Michigan hunters, trying to stop this wholesale slaughter up in the 13 county core zone. We had Lincoln Ronan talking about it. So, you guys have been listening to this here for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about it a little bit. And actually speaking, there's one of the guys, Jeffrey Lee Antis from Michigan Deer Hunters Let 'em Go, Let 'em Grow. He actually spoke at that meeting on our behalf. So, what gets me is, okay, so now what's going to happen?
See,
what's going to be the reaction for Jackson County?
Okay, so talking about that, Ron Moses has a comment that it says, until I see 50,000, he's not going to panic. Mm-hmm. Now, I think instead of, now here I go, on my soapbox or what? The plan that they're thinking of doing is a shotgun blast overreaction.
Yep.
I think it's wholeheartedly, you guys are just picking, you know what, let's just get rid of them all and we'll be good with it, instead of actually trying to think it through. And being in Jackson County and being so close to Ohio, my thought is, how will Ohio attack it? If they do anything at all, they might not do anything.
It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Exactly. And if they do something, what will they do? Will they do, I'm just going to pick a number. They pick 3 counties around the which would be their north border to our south border, and say they're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to permits everywhere and do this. Or
something tells me they're not. Something tells me that they won't.
They're a lot smarter. My thought is, no, you're right. They'll think about it and look at it and try to do it a different way, as opposed to what Michigan's done. So
Ron Moses here, he just typed, he said, yep, Lincoln changed his mind about APRs. In APRs or not, the thing that Lincoln's been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks was getting people like the people who want the $1 rule, the APR guys and QDMA guys, they're all starting to kind of funnel down and find common ground and work together.
You know what? And that's
to solve the problem. And that's a great idea.
That's a big thing Lincoln said last week, was about the $1 guys actually getting on board with them. And it's like, okay, so you could tell me, oh, you guys are just one group. You just think, well, hold on now. Now we've got 2 groups starting to think the same way.
Right.
Hold on a second. So there might be something there. Right. And then when you get QDMA to show up, and give their what's going on,
all those groups have all got different mindsets of the way they want to attack a problem. But the thing that really impressed me was the fact that, okay, they all agree that this wholesale slaughter in this 13 county area is wrong, the way they're going to go about it, the mismanagement that they're trying to propose, and they're wanting to come together as a bigger group, a bigger voice, and find common ground to start that effort in getting people to realize we need to manage better.
Absolutely. And I think it would speak volumes of our NRC to actually say, hey, you know what, we not just we listen to you guys, but this is what we're going to do. But hey, we listen to you guys, and we are going to do some of the stuff that, and actually say that, and come out with whatever. Pick one of the ideas that they have. But it'll be interesting to see how. And there also was one up in Wisconsin, right? Up in.
There was another case that was confirmed up on the northern border of the Michigan-Wisconsin border, and I don't remember, exactly where it was at. And that was in Wisconsin? That wasn't in Michigan.
No, it was in Wisconsin, which was close to the Michigan border.
So what's the DNR's response going to be to that? Exactly. How is that going to play into your area where you hunt?
I know last year already the PSAs were going off. Public service announcements on the radio were repeatedly, almost hourly, about, hey guys, if you're bringing any deer from Wisconsin, we want you can't bring this, you can't bring that, and we want it deboned, we want it no brains, no. They were adamantly talking on the radio, at least, to the people in the area, what not to do, and talking to the butcher up there. It's definitely a concern, and they're trying to get ahead of the curve, but we'll see.
Something here before the end of the show, I want to throw out real quick. This is something that most of you guys know that's watched for any time. That I work at a local TV station, and I've been working on this outdoor segment for the last 6 months. Going out shooting, producing, directing it, and editing it, and the whole 9 yards. It's called On the Trail.
Yep.
It's with Williams Gunsight Company here locally, and Tom Wright's the owner, the CEO of the company, and he is the person that actually does the interviews with these people. He's the front man. We were talking this week, and he was asking about, hey, what do you think? What's going on? And so we're going to try to talk to a local deer farmer. Okay. Somebody we met at ATA.
Yep. I knew exactly. As soon as you said local deer farmer, I was like, okay, I know who that is.
Okay, so they've got deer behind a high fence. They make product. Okay, they don't hunt them. They make product.
They make product, and I bet, it'll be interesting to.
So we're going to go talk to him, and the reason I bring this up is for everybody that's listening to this podcast or live stream, or if you're catching the live stream that on YouTube or whatever. If you've got questions about CWD,
anything
like
at
that,
all,
pass them along to us. I can't guarantee that we'll ask those questions on it, but I'm going to forward some of these things along to Tom and say, hey, look, this is what some of the people are asking.
Right, exactly. The people want to know this, whatever it might be, and no question is a stupid question.
No, ask. I mean, that's
it's one of those things. And Ron said it there, he's not going to worry about it till 50,000. So
yeah, well,
I know, and it's just one of those things that it's big, but it'll be interesting to see how Ohio attacks it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, if they do anything or if they don't do anything, what is going to be their initial reaction? I want to know what state of Michigan is going to do actually here with this new case.
Oh yeah,
in one county.
So that came out this week. So that's June, the last week of June. We're going into July. There's going to be a July meeting. And so when do the final recommendations?
Tony Smith just joined. Tony, if you're listening,
when did either Jeffrey or Tony, if you know when the final recommendations are voted on, put into place.
When does the NRC make their rule changes for the upcoming 2018 deer season?
Because
I think it's close to August.
Okay, so let's go with that. So now that you got this new case, right? Here we are. We've got one more meeting left, and then we'll say August. We don't know. Hopefully they'll tell us. But they might have to make some more changes depending on how they want to handle it, or they just. I don't know if they do a wait and see. I'm sure they'll probably put a perimeter around it, the way they've been going.
Well, it makes me wonder, going back to if they're going to keep trying to follow what the DNR recommendations are. You're not. Oh, Tony Smith said August. Okay, thanks. That's when the rules are going to be made. How are you going to get hunters engaged in this wholesale slaughter? There was some discussion going on. I believe it was on the Let 'Em Go, Let 'Em Grow page, if I'm not mistaken. A guy was talking about shooting yearling bucks or not, and talking about buck dispersal. And I seen that Wayne Sitton, he chimed in on it and was basically trying to explain the fact if we shoot the doe cohort, and get that population down in those areas,
the bucks will stay.
The bucks don't disperse as widely, so that they're not carrying that. And where do they get the disease from? They get it probably from the does in those social groups when they're little.
Yeah.
So you start thinning them down. They don't travel. They don't take it to another group.
Well, like it was proven in my little test case area called behind my house.
Danny's Deer Farm.
I had 5 bucks last year constantly. every day. I mean, it was like
Up until
I
when?
could name them. And then we went into the winter, and then all of a sudden now, I've yet to see one.
You haven't seen any of those bucks.
I've got all the does though.
And those bucks were how old? Year and a half old?
Yeah,
They were all little bucks.
They were, yeah, pretty much all were the little bucks. But
So I'm thinking after fawning season, you started seeing less and less and less.
I haven't seen them since. Well, the antlers are gone, so it was like what I could tell is like okay now, but now all of them coming in are does, pregnant. I did see a little one, so but yeah, it I hate to say it, but it makes perfect sense. If I could actually physically hunt there, why not shoot some of those does that are there? And I'm guessing some of those out of the $5, a couple of them would have stayed.
Right.
You know, and it actually this year was one of the first years that I really noticed it. You know, I really paid attention to it, but then because last year I had so many bucks, I'm like, oh, this is good. And all of a sudden it's like,
Isn't it amazing once you start learning the science behind
right?
the stuff, the things you pay attention to, the little things that you never ever thought about, and all of a sudden it's like, huh? Oh yeah, I remember that was in my Deer Steward 1 class, or that was up at. They talked about that at the Deer Health Check. You know, at the necropsy.
You know, and it's just amazing that I've yet to see any bucks this year.
Yeah.
And last year at this time, it was I could see them in velvet. They were coming in, watching them grow. And all of a sudden this year, not a thing. And I don't know what the fawns they'll be dropping here. I know there's going to be some, but it's like it made sense, and I'm like going, huh?
Right.
It's kind of like putting 2 and 2 together. Mm-hmm. You know, from hearing what the Sittons had to say and do this and do that, and okay, hold on. Then I go in my little backyard test area and go, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I could, and if I shot you, and you.
Yep.
Because I think I've got probably a dozen does.
Mm-hmm.
If I take out half of them, would some of those bucks have stayed?
Right.
You know, it's just amazing, and it kind of making sense more and more. And it's like, wow.
As I've said, the more I listen and listen to the different little places I get information from, and you start stacking it up against other pieces of information you get, and you start putting this puzzle together. It's like, okay, well that fits. No, wait a minute, that there's 3 or 4 different things over here that this doesn't make sense.
Right. Exactly.
So you start putting all those things together that plug in together and make things work, and you start to see a clearer picture. It's just like when I was at the prescribed fire seminar last weekend?
Last Saturday.
Yeah. When I was there, and Dr. Harper was talking about noticing things within that field that we were standing in, and he was showing things. And, if you're just standing there looking, it's like it looks like weeds, and then all of a sudden you start looking. Well, wait a minute, that one there is nipped off.
Oh yeah.
And that one's nipped off. Okay, well, you can start to see what they're eating. That reminded me back in turkey season when I was chasing a bird down the 2-track, and they popped out on the 2-track, and I just dropped down on the side.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I'm laying there, and as they start to walk off, I'm looking down. I quit paying attention to the birds for a second. I'm like, oh wait, there's something right there. It's nipped off. That's what a deer was eating. You start looking at browse.
The big one was when you did the video with Wayne, and he took the hula hoop.
The hula hoop and threw it out there.
What are they going to eat in here? And he came up with 9 things.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and walked to a food plot, threw it up there, goes, they'll eat everything there.
Right. Yeah. Wow. And when you start looking at things like that, and like you said, and putting whether it's, where did all the bucks go? How many does are here? You start thinking about all those little things and how they all work together.
Exactly. And
it's pretty cool.
That's why I want to get up north to the property and see what the regen is like.
Right.
Because that's all new growth, and I know that's going to be a food magnet for a few years to be.
Right.
So, and as far as what I can tell, there will be no changes for up north for me. So I won't be able to shoot any does, which...
You can't even shoot them with a bow, can you?
Nope. 0.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah. So unless something changes, but I'll have to deal with that as it is.
Okay.
But no, You start putting all this stuff together, you bits and pieces of information and everything. It's amazing, and it almost hits you right in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like the archery stuff that we've learned from Dan Jasa. It's you start putting all these little different things together, and it's like all of a sudden you start shooting tighter groups, you start shooting more consistently. It starts to make sense.
And and if I can glean just a little bit of information off that guy,
right?
And I'll even say Jim Beasley over there, because he's an excellent shooter. And he even said he how did he say that? When I win, I want to shoot my best, but if I lose, I want to shoot my best. And it's like, he goes, I haven't shot my best, but I've won, which, okay, I'll take the win.
Yeah.
But he's mad at himself for not
shooting his best. Right.
So, but right. So we'll see. We'll see as time goes, and get into next week, and we'll get into July, and hopefully get some lines wet here. Hopefully I will be getting some walleye. I would like to nab some.
Well, next week, I'm going to be in the cabin. You're going to be on the road. We're going to try to do a Skype connection.
We'll try to figure out something.
Or at least a phone call.
At least a phone call. Give you an update from up there and find out what's going on. And hopefully the cabin is still staying when I pull in that Friday afternoon.
Not floated down to the Michigami Reservoir.
So I kid you not. My biggest fear is if the bridge washes up.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it will, because there's like 7 layers of bridge that...
Did you see what happened in some of those towns up north?
I know. After seeing that one road down the hill,
right?
All bets are off. Ooh,
okay.
Tony's got something.
Okay. I tell you what. Let's go ahead. We'll wrap up the podcast right now. Then we'll read the comment here real quick. So, for those of you on the podcast, tune in next week. Danny's going to be
in the UP.
In the UP, so we'll get a call in from the UP, or maybe even a live stream. We'll have to wait and see on that. But join us again next week for sure. So that'll do it for us this week, folks. And as we always say, if you're in the woods or out in the water, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal. Okay, Dan, what did he have to say?
Okay,
there?
So Tony, after the MDNR proposal was made public and presented, the department realized the folly of the recommendations. Nice. After massive negative feedback, since then, our dear specialist is in damage control mode. An email I read from him and an interview he did with Avery, he is saying that department does not want a slaughter, but instead a 5 to 15% herd reduction depending on the county. This is the info. Hold on. This is the info that should have been expressed in the proposal, but is another demonstration of the department being out of touch. You'd think that the money spent on the PR firm would have borne fruit.
One would think.
Okay, so that goes exactly to what...
Okay, here's my question then. If they want a 5 to 15% reduction in the herd, then why are they going to have unlimited tags? And why are they going to have tags in these special hunting seasons where it's basically you got a tag, you can kill a deer, doesn't matter buck or doe?
Okay.
So talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Okay, so our DNR...
That's what it sounds like.
All right, so our DNR can tell us that we've got... and I forget the number, but it was down to like exact amount of number of wolves in 100 and some odd packs.
Oh yeah, I forget. 668 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Give me an exact number. 668 wolves in 132 packs.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you that perfect number. So our DNR wants to reduce by 5 to 15%. So why can't they say, X county, we want to reduce that herd down, so we're going to give it a number, 10,000 deer. We're going to reduce that by 15%.
Mm-hmm.
We'll mandatory. Well, here we go, mandatory check until we get to that number, and then we're done selling. Dude, I totally agree, and this is a huge problem with our DNR. Is their PR is not a good PR. And whoever the PR firm was, because from what I'm getting out of what Lincoln Roan and now Tony and everybody else, it sounded like it was a big old thud.
I think so. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to sit back and wait for the actual rules to come out, figure out what's gonna happen. What do you got?
So Tony Smith follows up with, hunters will not take adequate antlerless numbers as long as they have 2 buck tags in their pocket.
No.
Absolutely. You're right, Tony. Make it 1 buck, and you could even go make it a doe before you shoot a buck. I think they did that before somewhere else. But you're right. And then Ron Moses says, the DNR sounds like MDOT. Will never admit when wrong. And he's right.
I'm sorry, I'm typing. I'm checking on something here real quick. I'm trying to type.
Only one county in the CWD 13 sold out of antlerless tags.
Say that one more time.
Only one county in the CWD 13 sold out of antlerless tags.
Last year.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting.
Well, I just hope everybody shows up. And I think it's the 14th of June, or July, for this next meeting, and make your voices be heard. I know there's been a lot of talk about of the mistrust that's going on right now. This deal down in Jackson County. I don't want to perpetuate something that it's either been confirmed or denied or what have you. But some of the people are saying, well, how do we know there was even a deer found? How do we know that they didn't take that deer and put that down there? How do they know they're not trying to expand this area? And that the reason I say that is it just goes to show the amount of distrust with the DNR.
And it was Newaygo County, which is Lincoln Roads County.
It is, yep.
And that's a problem.
It is.
When something happens and you get the instant conspiracy theories of the deer was planted,
yeah,
it kind of says, oh, you guys have got a big problem.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of the people regarding a project that we're working on over here the last couple of years, and they said the biggest problem they have is people don't trust the DNR, and then you see this and you go, duh, this is why.
I tell you what, and
it's the people at the top that are making the problems.
Well, it's usually how it goes. It'll be interesting to see how Ohio reacts.
Yes.
If they react in a way that is more PR friendly,
yep.
Besides Michigan already being done,
right.
It's over because you won't have anybody trusting, let alone anything from the DNR. They'll probably tell you October 1st opening day, and you won't have people believing that anymore.
Right.
That's the thing. Is once you get people, it's terrible. It's sad.
Well, let's hope that the NRC takes a step back, listens to some people, listens to people that are making these presentations, and takes them to heart, and really thinks seriously about what they're going to do this coming fall. Because if not, it's not going to be pretty. So.
Here we go. Paul George. CWD zones will have to be expanded to all lower Michigan zones 2 and 3. More study must be done instead of immediate action, such as the DNR wants to do so with little scientific evidence. Removal of the second buck combo tag will not make people shoot more does. Well, that's it. QDMA has already said that Michigan's got a problem. Because we don't shoot enough does anyway.
Well,
period.
Lincoln was talking about that last week, and I don't know if you remember, but as I dove off screen real quick, I grabbed
you grabbed the book,
my QDMA, my deer report from last, this year, deer report they put out. It was actually from, I believe it's 2016. They're always like a year and a half behind because they're waiting for these numbers to come in. And Michigan consistently shoots more bucks than does. They kill more bucks than does every single year. It's never in the opposite. There's many states that are well managed that consistently shoot more does than bucks.
Right, exactly. Ron Moses. Can't trust a department that's broke, and funding they need comes from hunters at 60%. They looking for money, period.
Yeah, we pay for 60% of
don't get me started on that.
Of that budget with our hunting tags.
Tony Smith. QDMA member in a co-op discovered the Jackson County positive. Keep in mind that Ames has not confirmed the test yet. It may be a false positive.
That's good to know.
Well, that's what I was saying about before you guys say anything. Make sure of what you got, because if you, it's the world we live in today.
Take it and run with it.
Take it, run with it. Oh, and by the way, they were only allegations, and the person wasn't guilty, but he's guilty as charged.
Oh, what's that? As kids, we used to play the game where you'd whisper something in somebody's ear, and you go around you go around the room. But 20 people later, it doesn't even resemble anything of close to what the first person said.
You could say the sky was blue, and by the time it got around to there, it was another color.
Yeah.
Nope, I totally agree.
Need to have a spring fawn knife season. That's all about that's left. Wayne says, right. I guess the QDMA member that found this. Okay, so you've got somebody who believes the way we do that they actually found this, and it wasn't something that the conspiracy theorists are trying to run around with.
Well, but they need to, like Tony Smith, they need to get it confirmed.
Yeah.
What they should do, to me, is go get it confirmed, then come out with the press.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for just a second. Take it back here just a little bit. Okay, let's say I'm hunting somewhere in a county where it's far CWD is far removed from where I'm hunting, and all of a sudden I get a deer that looks bad. I mean, I've killed it, and this thing looks sickly.
Okay,
and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put out its misery. What is the reason I would want to take that to the DNR and have it tested and turn it in and say, look, I found this. You guys might want to check this. Because if they do what they say they're going to do, they're going to come in and they want a wholesale slaughter. Why do I want to be that guy and do the right thing to have it tested when I know what they're proposing,
what the end
result's going to be, and they just want to come in and do a slaughter.
Pick so said county out there, and you're right. But the problem with that also is the way we're set up. It's not just that county.
Oh no, it's surrounding area.
It's the county and all 6 of them that touch it, right?
Right.
Well, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah.
What would stop?
Not to mention the fact,
shoot, shovel, and shut up.
That if it gets out and they give your name out, that everybody
that'll be that.
You, and they're gonna want to burn you to the ground.
You turn that deer in, and now we can't. Whatever.
Right.
Or I used to see 100 deer, and now you've turned this deer in, and now I see 2.
Right.
Oh yeah. I totally agree with you there. That's definitely. I'm sure if this goes a little bit further, you'll have a lot of people that might be just shooting and shutting up.
Yeah. Well,
we don't have a mandatory deer check anyways.
No.
So it's not like it's.
Well, and we've all heard the stories from people up in the UP back when the wolves reintroduced that a lot of those was shoot, shovel, and shut up.
Yeah.
Or they wound up being thrown on a Walmart truck heading down 75, and all of a sudden
the collar was on a semi.
Yeah,
the collar was
back to
80
Arkansas.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
Tony Smith in Mount Calm and Kent, 57% of the deer tested were bucks. Even with discounted tags, extended seasons, and a plea for more antlers harvest, hunters still had 2 buck tags and could still target them in the January season. So they're still shooting more bucks.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I mean, what we've learned.
Yep. That's just it. You're right, Tony, and it'll be interesting to see what transpires in the next 3 weeks.
Yep. Well, if you're a man of faith, just pray. Pray that the right thing happens. I mean, stay involved if you can, and get to the meeting and make your voice be heard.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm going to be interested to see. I'm trying to think of what county that was up in Wisconsin, and I know it's a simple county that I'd remember where they found that. I think it was in a captive herd that they found, and see if anything, because there was nothing in the recommendations for the UP.
Right.
And I think that story came out after that. So maybe I'll have to revisit that and see if something changed.
All right. Well, keep us posted.
Well, I will. Oh, also 4.5 and older does outnumbered 4.5 and older bucks 7-1.
You know, and what we shot last year on our property, almost everything we shot was, I think the average age was probably 6.5, 7.5. I mean, the average
You had a
age,
couple that were
yeah,
really old.
yeah, 9.5, 10.5.
Yeah, you had a couple of nice old biddies that needed to go.
You're right. Well, and you know what we learned at the Deer Health, Dr. Kroll said, if they're 4.5, make them into sausage.
Yep.
You know, turn them into sausage. Fill the freezer.
Hey, sausage, snack sticks, jerky, it's all good, man.
all good.
I tell you what, I think I've used up pretty much all of Kelly's deer, and starting to work on my deer. I tell you what, this sausage and snack sticks, and man.
We've had burger out of mine from last year that we had the bacon put into.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
man.
it good with the bacon?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. There's just a hint of bacon taste in it, just enough to say, yeah, there's bacon in there.
Nice.
There's bacon in them burgers.
Bacon in them burgers.
But no, it's all good.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking forward to hunting season, looking forward to getting back up north, and that's something that we're going to try to do this weekend. But for those of you still on the live stream, Danny's heading up. We're going to be back again same time next week, 7 o'clock-ish. And I'm going to ring his phone, and if your cell signal works up there strong enough, we'll actually do a live stream like what we did with Dan Jasa earlier in the show.
Yeah, well,
here,
you know
so.
what? Well, I do have antenna booster at the cabin.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be enough to get the Skype. We'll test it, though.
Do you got Skype on your phone?
I think Kelly's got it on her phone.
Okay. All right. So we're going to try that next week and see what happens. If not, we'll at least get him on the phone. We'll find out if the bridge got washed away, find out how deep the grass is, and how big the mosquitoes are.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So, but Tony, thanks for the information. Appreciate you chiming in. Wayne Sitton was on here commenting as well. Thank him for chiming in.
Thanks for you guys chiming in.
Paul George and Ron Moses talking about CWD. This right here tells me there's people out there that get it. There's people out there that care, and we need more people to voice their opinions.
Right, exactly.
You know?
And it's you know, and Ron Moses said he's going to wait till it gets up to like 50,000 before he cares. Before he's worried, which is fine. But you know what? The DNR's got to do something to make it. How do I want to say this? They need to do it in a way that their PR works for them and it gets better for everybody.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter if the PR is good, bad, or whatever. It's about the health of the deer. That's the main thing. How do we get a better deer herd and help try to contain this problem? I mean, nobody's really got a strong answer. I mean, we know how to manage these deer and keep these populations down.
Yep.
And keep the bucks from dispersing. Let's start with that, and then let's keep working towards maybe somewhere down the road we're going to find an actual hard solution to eradicate this. You know, and if we don't, we just keep working and doing what we're doing.
There was an article out there that actually said, "Are deer becoming when you can't get it anymore, when you become resistant to CWD?"
I saw a small article.
It was a small article.
It was actually put out by QDMA, and they're talking about there's 3 different genotypes.
Yep.
But they also said be careful what you ask for because of a genotype that might make them a little more resistant, might lead to another problem somewhere else that you don't know about.
Exactly.
So
it was one of those don't get your hopes up. Are deer becoming CWD resistant? Wait, don't get your hope ups.
Yeah. So if I think about it tonight, I'll make sure and put that on. Hey, Dan Anderson, what's going on from Wisconsin?
And Tony spent the weekend at NUC's annual convention.
At where?
At the annual convention. NUCC's annual convention this week.
I heard some guys talking about the convention, and I didn't hear a whole lot of talk coming back out of that. I'm going to have to do some digging on that as well.
I'm sure Tony will fill us in.
But I tell you what, guys, we're going to sign off. We've been on the live stream here going on...
an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah. I see Dan Jasa chime back in, who was on earlier. So, but as always, if you enjoy what you're hearing here, share our YouTube version of it that's coming out on Wednesday. This will be posted here on Facebook a little while later. And, share it with your friends. We really appreciate it. So
Absolutely.
We're going to sign off. And everybody out there, just keep fighting the good fight and keep after the NRC. And we just got to keep our voices active. Y'all take care. And we'll be back and see you again next week.